Hello everyone! It's so nice to see you again on my channel today. A new day begins with soft sunlight, birds singing in the garden, and a heartwarming story about Hoài Ca and Hùng. After so many hard days, they can finally smile together in peace. No more worries or struggles. Today is a day full of laughter and simple joys, where love, understanding, and family blend into a melody of happiness. In this video, you'll see Hoài Ca busily tending her little garden, Hùng fixing the porch roof, and little Tony running around the yard with bursts of laughter. Each of those small moments holds the story of a long journey they've overcome together. Let's watch together to see what surprises and new joys await them in today's episode. Dawn was just breaking. The first rays of sunlight slipped through the bamboo grove, spilling softly over the small garden behind the house. Dewdrops still clung to the leaves, sparkling like tiny jewels. In the distance, a rooster crowed, blending with the whisper of the autumn breeze through the trees, together composing the gentle melody of an early autumn morning. Hoài Ca wrapped a thin scarf around her neck and carried a basket into the garden. The light wind brushed against her blouse, making the fabric sway softly. The whole garden seemed to glow in that golden morning light, where branches of ripe persimmons blushed red among the green leaves. She stopped beneath a familiar tree, gazing up at the plump, glistening fruits. A quiet warmth rose within her chest, a tender feeling she couldn't quite put into words. She reached up to pick each persimmon, wiped it gently on her sleeve, and placed it in the basket. Every fruit she held felt like a small joy, the result of months of care, watering, pruning, shielding them from frost and sun. Her hands were calloused from labor, yet each movement carried a certain softness, a quiet grace. This year's harvest is really good. These should sell for a decent price, she murmured to herself, barely above a whisper. A faint smile touched her lips, gentle, serene, content. The sun climbed higher, spreading golden light across the path. It streamed through the bamboo leaves, glinting off the grass still wet with dew. Hoài Ca balanced the baskets of persimmons on her shoulder and began walking down the dirt road toward the village market. Along the way came greetings, bicycle bells, and laughter, the familiar sounds of morning life in the countryside. The commune market was bustling as always. Vendors lined the narrow road, selling fish, vegetables, sticky rice, and fruit, their voices and scents mingling into that comforting aroma of rural mornings. The smell of freshly steamed sticky rice, ripe pomelos, and erica blossoms drifted in the air, wrapping the heart in quiet peace. Hoài Ca found a shaded spot and neatly arranged her stall. The basket of red persimmons gleamed invitingly under the sunlight. She brushed her hands clean, adjusted her hair, and called out with a bright smile. "Fresh persimmons here. Crisp and sweet, grown right in my garden." Her clear, warm voice, paired with that gentle smile, caught the attention of passers-by. A woman stopped, picked up a persimmon, examined it, then took a bite. "These are perfect, so crunchy, not bitter at all. Just like the ones we used to have." Delighted, Hoài Ca quickly wrapped the fruits in banana leaves and tied them carefully. Customers came one after another, and soon her baskets were half empty. Each time she accepted payment, she bowed slightly, her eyes sparkling with the quiet joy of honest work. By late morning, the sun was high. Sweat dotted her forehead, but her heart felt light. It had been a good market day, good sales, kind people, easy laughter. She thought about stopping by Uncle Tuke's stall for some fish on her way home, to make a delicious lunch for the family. But little did she know, back at home, Hùng had quietly returned. He parked his motorbike by the gate and looked at their sunlit house with a smile. That small house, that garden, so simple, yet to him, it was the most peaceful place in the world. Today, He had decided to spend the whole day for her, the woman he loved most. A small gift, a simple surprise, yet one filled with all the affection of a man who had spent months away, missing home. And Hoài Ca, amidst the cheerful noise of the market, had no idea that behind her, at their cozy little home, another happiness was quietly waiting to greet her. That day, Hùng took the afternoon off work early. Since morning, he had already decided that today would be special, a small surprise for Hoài Ca, the gentle, hard-working woman who had always carried the weight of their family. After so many months filled with worries and long days apart, he wanted to give her a quiet evening, no work, no burdens, only laughter and warmth. On his way home, Hùng stopped by a small flower shop near the market. He carefully picked each white chrysanthemum, adding a few sprigs of baby's breath, their faint fragrance soothing in the breeze. His eyes then caught a gift box wrapped in light brown paper, tied with a thin ribbon, simple yet elegant, just like Hoài Ca herself. He smiled as he imagined the moment she would open it, her eyes lighting up, her hands trembling slightly in surprise. Carrying the flowers and the gift, Hùng walked slowly down the sunny village road. The afternoon wind whispered through the bamboo groves, and the scent of ripening rice drifted over from the distant fields. Each step he took felt slower, filled with a quiet joy rising in his heart. When he reached home, he changed clothes, rolled up his sleeves, and began tidying the house. It had been a while since the little house had been properly cleaned, but under his hands, it quickly became neat and cozy. The sound of the broom brushing over the brick floor, the bubbling of soup in the kitchen, together they created a melody of familiar warmth. He arranged the white chrysanthemums in an old ceramic vase, placed it on the table, and adjusted the curtains so the sunlight came in just right. Hùng cooked sour soup, braised some field fish, and prepared a plate of boiled vegetables, simple dishes, but Hoài Ca's favorites. He hummed softly as he cooked, a quiet happiness filling his heart. For him, grand gestures weren't necessary. Just seeing Hoài Ca smile and their home glowing with light was more than enough. A dog's bark by the gate made him look up. A woman stood hesitantly by the areca trees, her expression uncertain, with a trace of worry in her eyes. Hùng wiped his hands and walked over, speaking kindly. "Oh, you're here to see Hoài Ca? She's been at the market since early morning, should be home soon." The woman nodded, pressing her lips together before letting out a sigh. "Hùng, I came because I need some advice. My office is in chaos. The project I manage was just found to have a big financial discrepancy. I'm afraid I'll be blamed, and honestly, I don't even know what to do anymore." Hùng froze for a second, then invited her onto the porch. He poured her a cup of tea and said calmly, "That sounds serious. But you should tell me clearly, we'll think it through together. Sometimes silence only makes others suspect more." The woman clasped her hands tightly, tears glimmering in her eyes. "You don't understand. I haven't eaten or slept properly in days. They said the fund ledger is missing, and my signature is absent on the report. I'm terrified they'll pin this on me." Hung's tone deepened, steady but firm. "Take a breath. If you've done nothing wrong, there's nothing to fear. If you're innocent, let the police handle it, the truth will come out. I still have some friends in the department. If needed, I can ask them to review the documents for you. But for now, the most important thing is to stay calm. Don't let fear make you do something you'll regret." The woman bowed her head, tears finally falling onto her clasped hands. "Thank you. I just needed someone to listen, someone who doesn't immediately judge. I haven't dared to go home all week." Hùng smiled softly, his voice warm yet resolute. "There's nothing to fear if you walk the straight path. Be brave and face it head-on. Fairness will always side with the truth." It was Du's older sister. When she stood up to leave, Her steps were lighter than when she came. Her figure gradually disappeared behind the erica trees, leaving only the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. Hung stood still for a moment, then returned to the kitchen. He lifted the lid of the pot. Fragrant steam rose, carrying the tang of tamarind and dill. He adjusted the seasoning, arranged the dishes neatly, and made sure the flowers on the table sat perfectly in place. The last rays of sunlight streamed through the window, scattering warm gold across the brick floor. He looked around the small house, a faint melancholy settling in, peaceful, yet laced with longing. In his mind appeared an image of Hoài Ca with her basket of bright red persimmons, smiling amid the morning crowd at the market. He smiled to himself and whispered, "She should be on her way home now." He sat down, gently turning the little gift box in his hands, his heart fluttering like a child waiting for Tet. Flowers, a warm meal, a simple gift, everything was ready. Only one thing was missing, the woman he loved, the one whose presence filled the home with laughter and the quiet rhythm of happiness. Outside, the afternoon breeze drifted softly through the erica trees, carrying the faint scent of the rice fields. In the small kitchen, the fire kept burning, steady and warm, just like the heart of the man named Hung, waiting patiently for a love that was simple, but deeply, sincerely true. Evening descended. The golden light of sunset stretched across the dirt road, tinting the red-tiled roof of the little house at the end of the village. Orange clouds drifted slowly across the sky, their reflection glowing over the persimmon garden still scented with sunlight. Birdsong echoed softly in the distance, gentle, peaceful, almost dreamlike. Hoài Ca walked slowly, her shoulders a little weary after a long day at the market. Her basket of persimmons was nearly empty, yet her heart felt light. As she walked, her thoughts wandered to the dinner waiting to be made, to little Tony staying at Grandma Haas, and to Hung, the man who'd been working far from home for so many months. When she opened the gate, she froze in surprise. On the porch, bathed in the last light of day, stood a familiar figure. Hung, in a white shirt, holding a bouquet of bright red roses, smiling with that warm, tender expression she had missed so much. Her heart skipped a beat. You're home already?" He stepped forward, offering her the flowers. "Happy Vietnamese Women's Day." Such a simple sentence, yet it melted her heart completely. She smiled, her hands trembling slightly as she accepted the bouquet, breathing in its sweet fragrance that lingered in the evening air. "You came straight from work? I didn't expect you home today." Hung looked at her, eyes soft with affection. "I left early. Wanted to cook you dinner, just a small gift, to thank the woman who stood by me through all these hard months." She said nothing, just nodded, her eyes glistening with quiet emotion. Dinner was served in their small kitchen, the rich aroma of shrimp rolls filling the house. On the table sat bowls of crisp greens, golden fried eggs, and the vase of white chrysanthemums he had arranged that morning, still fresh, still fragrant. The warm yellow light of the lamp made everything feel cozy and alive. As he rolled a piece of pho, Hung grinned. "This one's refreshing, lots of vegetables, good for you. Oh, and I'm thinking of going to the commune office tomorrow to buy a new fridge for you and Tony. It'll make things easier for food storage." Hoài Ca looked up, her lips pressing together in a tender smile. "You're always so thoughtful." "I'm truly happy, Hung. As long as you're home, even the simplest meal tastes wonderful." He chuckled, eyes full of warmth. Setting his chopsticks down, he reached over and gently held her hand, worn from work, but warm and soft. No grand words were needed, that single touch said everything. Outside, a light breeze stirred the erica leaves, carrying the faint scent of ripe persimmons from the back garden. The young moon rose above the red brick porch, where two people sat side by side quietly, peacefully, completely at ease. In that moment, Hoài Ca leaned her head on Hung's shoulder. They said nothing, just listened to the soft chirping of crickets, to the rhythm of their breaths mingling, to the peace settling deep within after months of storms. And in the drifting scent of the night wind, Hoài Ca smiled. The smile of a woman who knew that true happiness sometimes simply means coming home and finding the one you love still waiting there. After dinner, when the moon had risen high above the horizon, Hung took Hoài Ca on his motorbike, riding slowly down the familiar village road. The dirt path curved gently between rows of bamboo, the evening breeze cool and fragrant with erica blossoms. The sky was crystal clear, and tiny stars twinkled as if smiling down at their quiet happiness. Hoài Ca wrapped her arms gently around Hung's waist, resting her head on his shoulder. The wind lifted her hair, a few strands brushing softly against his cheek. Neither of them spoke, they simply listened to the night around them. The hum of the motorbike blending with the chirping of crickets, the distant barking of dogs, and the faint laughter from a nearby house. They stopped by her mother's home, a small, tiled-roof house shaded by grapefruit trees along the road. Her mother sat on the porch weaving a bamboo basket, and her face lit up with a warm smile as they arrived. Hung stepped forward, holding out a small bouquet of flowers he had prepared. "Mother, we came to wish you a happy Vietnamese Women's Day. We wish you good health and happiness always." The old woman smiled gently, her eyes glowing with quiet joy. She took the flowers, her voice trembling with emotion, but soft and full of love. For women, a special day like this, just being remembered by the ones we love, that's already enough, my dear. Having you two here makes me happier than anything. Hoài Ca sat beside her mother, holding her hand. It was a slow, tender gesture, filled with affection and gratitude. She said nothing, only gazed at her mother's time-worn face, her heart swelling with a deep, wordless peace. On the way back, the moon hung high in the sky, its silver light spilling across the fields. The wind rustled through the erica trees, carrying the scent of straw and ripened rice. Hoài Ca leaned her head once more on Hung's shoulder, eyes gently closed, letting the cool night breeze weave through her hair. She didn't need much, no grand gifts, no elaborate promises. All she wished for was that the man beside her would always remember her, always offer the same quiet, sincere care he gave tonight. Among all the gifts life gives, she thought, sometimes the most precious one is simply the presence of the person you love. The motorbike rolled on, humming softly along the tranquil village road. Ahead, lights shimmered from the houses, mingling with the laughter of families gathering around their evening meals. But somewhere deep inside, something stirred, a faint unease carried by the wind. A sudden chill brushed through Hung's chest. He couldn't explain why, but instinct whispered that peace was often just the calm before an approaching storm. Would this happiness last? Or were quiet troubles already on their way, as whispers from Duet's workplace began spreading, hinting at a major investigation soon to unfold? Between justice and family ties, what would Hung choose, when the one under suspicion was someone he once trusted, once helped? Stay tuned for the next episode, where secrets begin to surface, and the love between Hoài Ca and Hung faces its first true test after their brief days of peace.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Bây giờ thì mình đang làm video về câu chuyện tình yêu của mẹ đơn thân Ly Hoai Ca và tình yêu với cảnh sát Hùng. Mọi người cũng đã biết là Hoài Ca và Hùng để yêu nhau một khoảng thời gian cũng khá là dài rồi, và hiện tại thì cả hai đang có ý định là sẽ tiến xa hơn trong thời gian tới, và rất mong muốn là sẽ có thể là giống như là bên nhau nhiều hơn nữa. Tuy nhiên là có rất là nhiều khó khăn xoay quanh cuộc sống của hai người khi mà cả Hoài Ca và Hùng đều phải gặp rất nhiều khó khăn trong cuộc sống, từ gia đình đến công việc và cuộc sống, và đặc biệt là trong tình yêu của hai người. Thì trước kia thì khi mà đến với nhau thì nhận phải rất nhiều sự ngăn trở, còn bây giờ thì khi đã không còn sự ngăn cách nữa thì họ lại xảy ra một số vấn đề về kinh tế và vấn đề liên quan đến con cái các thứ. Vậy thì liệu mọi chuyện sẽ ra sao? Mời mọi người đón xem tập sau nhé.